Weathered insane asylums, ancient ritual sites, and monsters beyond human comprehension await on this exploration of the most haunted places in the dreaded Bridgewater Triangle. Are you sure you're ready for this? Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in for this adventure through the infamous Bridgewater Triangle and its many haunted and sometimes even cursed locations. Containing a bunch of smaller townships and recognized for its ties to some of the US's most important colonization events, this locale is absolutely drowning in tales of encounters with restless spirits, cryptids, extraterrestrials, and even demons. Let's jump right in. The Bridgewater Triangle, which is located in south-central Massachusetts, is a land area of around 200 square miles. That, much like the infamous and iconic Bermuda Triangle or the Alaska Triangle, is a region steeped in folklore, urban legends, real disappearances, chilling ghost stories, and numerous cryptid sightings. Geographically speaking, the Bridgewater Triangle is an acute triangle boundary pointed northeast through Massachusetts, with its northeasternmost point lying in Abington, its southeastern point placed in Freetown, and its southwestern point landing in Rehoboth, that envelops a range of forests, lakes, rivers, and cities, including Bridgewater and West Bridgewater, Raynham, Oakland, Taunton, Dighton, Berkeley, and Merrick's, as well as the Freetown Fall River State Forest and the infamous Hockomock Swamp. Historically speaking, lands now holding the triangle and all of its associated townships initially played home to a range of tribes native to the region, including to the Pawtucket, the Pokentoket, the Nipmuc, the Pocumtuck, and more. In 1492, Christopher Columbus would arrive to the New World, marking the start of eras of colonization across America. In 1629, King Charles I of England would grant the Massachusetts Bay Company a charter to colonize, and through the 1630s, around 20,000 European settlers would migrate within. Of the Bridgewater Triangle's anchor points, its southeastern point, Rehoboth, was first settled in 1643 under Walter Palmer and William Sabin, and would incorporate as one of the earliest Massachusetts towns to do so just 2 years later in 1645. Notably, Rehoboth would later act as a significant site during King Philip's War when, on June 30th of 1675, Wampanoag chief King Philip, or Metacom, led a small war party in a surprise attack against the settlement, which was undefended at the time, resulting in countless settler casualties, in houses being burned, and in future residents living in fear of a subsequent attack. Incidentally, only a year later, on March 28th of 1676, a second attack on the settlement would be launched by Narragansett leader Canonchet, which would result in further deaths and in the razing of 42 homes, 21 barns, several corn mills, and a sawmill. Freetown, the triangle's southeastern point, was settled next in 1659, with its lands purchased from the Wampanoag tribe for all of 20 coats, 2 rugs, 2 iron pots, 2 kettles, 1 little kettle, 8 pairs of stockings, 12 hoes, 12 hatchets, and 2 yards of broadcloth. Initially, Freetown would act as a proprietary of the larger Plymouth colony, but would grow steadily until, in 1683, it was officially incorporated. Citizens of Freetown would also participate in King Philip's War, and later, on May 28th of 1775 and through the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Freetown would transpire. Through the rest of the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries, Freetown would act as an industrious region, toting blast furnaces, profitable angling opportunities, manufacturing sites, and textiles, though its population would remain around or just under 2,000 residents all the way up until 1950, after which, and to date, it has grown steadily to nearly 10,000. The final anchor of the triangle, being its northeastern point, Abington, was settled last in 1668 on lands acquired through the 1650 Bridgewater Purchase, in which a portion of the region was sold under Chief Massasoit, who was actually Metacom's father. Over the years, a community would grow locally. In 1706, it would adopt the name of Abington, and in 1712, it was officially incorporated. In 1769, an iron foundry was established locally. In 1815, Jesse Reed would invent invent a machine to mass-produce tacks, leading to a bolstering shoe industry in town. And notably, in 1893, Abington would act as the site of a riot between town constables and workers from the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad, with a line eventually being constructed alongside the North Abington Depot building as a peace offering. From as far back as the late 19th century, possibly even further, and into more recent times, lands held within the Bridgewater Triangle have acted as a birthing grounds to a range of native legends, scary stories, and tales of the unknown, with the triangle itself first officially recognized by cryptozoologist Loren Coleman through the 1970s, and later in his 1983 book, Mysterious America. Notably, the triangle has acted as scene to thousands of unexplained disappearances and countless ghost stories, cryptid sightings, and much, much more. A more popular theory regarding odd phenomena experienced within the Bridgewater Triangle revolves around Chief Metacom and tells of his fabled wampum belt. A wampum belt, in native teachings, was a sacred effect passed down through generations, with each new generation contributing their own unique designs or additions to it. As it's told, Metacom was given his wampum belt by his father, Massasoit, and following his own death on August 12th of 1676 and the ending of the conflict, it's said this belt was stolen as a spoil of war, after which a curse was placed on the lands, leading to what's been described as a paranormal unrest. One area supposedly affected a little more heavily by this curse is Hockomock Swamp and the associated Lake Nipponicket, where those who have explored about have reported phantom fires seen at a distance, encounters with Sasquatch or skunk ape, thunderbird sightings, and full-bodied apparitions that wander amongst the trees. A more disturbing native legend tells that deep within the swamp awaits the deity Hobomok, an evil being or spirit of death that's often described sort of like the boogeyman, and that, aside from tricking, luring in, and killing his victims, is also known for stealing the eyelids of the unsuspecting so they can never blink or sleep again, and for twisting their feet in order to make them lame. Additionally, just to the west of the swamp lies King Philip's Cave, in which the fearless leader hid out during the late stages of his war, and those who have neared it have reported spook lights that flit about in the skies, inexplicable sounds of chanting and drum beats, and encounters with full-bodied apparitions in traditional attire. Another site steeped in native lore is Anawan's Rock, which is located just to the northeast of Rehoboth. Following the death of King Philip, Chief Anawan would succeed him and would organize the remaining Wampanoag at this rock for a final stand, after which one colonial captain, Benjamin Church, would lead a small party to the rock and would force their surrender, resulting in Anawan turning over all that he'd inherited from Metacom, a collection which possibly included a certain aforementioned wampum belt. While Church would plead for Anawan's life, Plymouth officials would wait until the stalwart captain was away and would execute him by way of beheading, and would place his head, along with the head of another chief, Tispaquin, for all to view. Near the rock, many have described a heavy, oppressive feeling in the air, the phantom sense of tobacco smoke and gunpowder, and disembodied bootsteps. And both here and at another prominent rock formation closer to Freetown called Profile Rock, where it's believed Anawan first received Metacom's wampum belt, the spirit of Anawan himself has been sighted, sitting cross-legged with his hands upwards toward the sky. But not all of the Bridgewater Triangle's supernatural happenings can be chalked up to native legend, and in more recent times, reports of satanic cult activity within the Freetown Fall River State Forest have surfaced, with surprising brutality. Accounts of found occult sites, of dismembered animal carcasses, and even of sacrificial murders are among these grisly documentations, with two of the most prominent of such incidents occurring in 1998, when the police were first called to the site of an adult cow that had been butchered and dismembered in a strange fashion, and later when they were contacted yet again to a satanic ritual site containing the mutilated and organized carcasses of an entire herd of baby calves. To date, local tales tell Satanists and arcane cults still utilize areas of the triangle in their ceremonial proceedings, and some theorize that a number of the expanse's disappearances may be due to actual human sacrifice. Reported across the whole of the triangle and confined to no area in particular are sightings of unidentified flying objects, of encounters with strange animals such as giant vicious dogs, panther-like cats, and some that are just unidentifiable, and run-ins with both shadowy figures and strange hominid abominations that stalk hikers and other nature enthusiasts at great lengths, and that many claim may be skinwalkers or Wendigo from Algonquin lore. Additionally, one of the Bridgewater's most prominent native cryptids is believed to be the Pukwudgie, which, contrary to what you might have learned from Harry Potter, were actually vicious and dangerous little tricksters that were held responsible for a number of deaths and disappearances. Founded in 1840, Bridgewater State University is another supposedly supernaturally charged locale within the Bridgewater Triangle, and boasts a surprising number of campus legends. In Woodward Hall, which was built in 1911, both students and faculty have described odd malfunctions with electronics that include radios that literally answer questions, and the disembodied sounds of a girl running up and down the halls screaming, "Fire! Fire!" Shockingly, in 1924, the old Woodward dorm actually burned to the ground, and it's believed this spirit is that of the girl who started the blaze and who died that night, though official documentation claims there were no casualties. In the Shea Durgan Hall, a ghost on the 5th floor has been known to rearrange furniture and stack trash cans. A mischievous entity in the bathrooms has a habit of turning the showers from hot to cold while students are using them, and throughout the whole of the building, many have told of the phantom sounds of a choking woman, who it's believed was murdered by her boyfriend following a particularly bad fight or after being accused of cheating. Chillingly, the scents of rot and death are randomly smelled in the student apartments, and in the RCC auditorium, a specter dubbed George has been known to steal scripts, mess with the lights, and play harmless pranks on the living. Also included in the triangle is the old Taunton State Hospital, which was initially established in 1854 to treat mental health disorders, that was expanded over the remainder of the 19th century to include crisis centers, sick wards, group homes, and even juvenile facilities, and that central facility closed its doors in 1975, after which it was left abandoned. Through the later 70s, some tell this old institution was utilized in satanic rituals, and those who have braved the expanse have reported extreme cold spots and the sensations of having their hair or clothing tugged on by unseen hands. Lastly, the old Hornbein School, which is located out of Rehoboth, and that was initially constructed in 1862, has acted as a focal point to local ghost stories for generations past, and those who have neared or even entered it have reported instances of the front door opening and closing by itself, of objects sighted moving around on their own, of phantom knocking and scratching sounds, and of instances in which the pale, ghostly faces of its former students are observed peering from the windows after dark. On a closing note, many who live inside the triangle describe odd happenings that occur right within their own residences. Those driving through have reported their vehicles stalling or refusing to start, leaving them stranded sometimes miles away from help, and a number of hikers report the constant feeling of always being followed by something lurking just out of sight. With its fascinating history, its massive slew of associated ghost stories, and its ties to native folklore spanning back thousands of years, the Bridgewater Triangle is a dark and mysterious region that is seemingly capable of reaching through the very barriers of our reality in order to snatch up the unsuspecting and pull them into a world where nightmares roam, where ancient curses kill, and where the unbelievable awaits at the end of every trail. Thanks for tuning in for this journey through the infamous Bridgewater Triangle. If you enjoyed hearing my histories and ghost stories, subscribe to my channel, like this upload, and share me with anyone you feel could use a good scare. I'll catch you all next time.